Welcome back to the Slab Lab. I am with Fireballin' Southpaw. Two-time All-Star. You know him, you massholes know him as the War Pig. We're talking to Garrett Crochet.
Crochet's 117th pitch. That's called strike three.
Thanks for joining the Slab Lab, my man.
Thanks for having me, Dallas.
I think I want to start just very basic with you right now. I want to start with the pitch grips because we'll get into how your arsenal has sort of evolved and how you're deploying it. But first things first, show me the heater. Give me the four-seam fastball.
Two pitch. Put him away. The heater at 96, buzzing it by White. One away.
Just horseshoe on the outside. The thumb placement I kind of tinker with. I'm typically a little bit more on the side of the ball with it.
Okay.
I've had problems in the past with cutting the four, so in my mind that prevents me from cutting it.
And steering that, I mean, using the thumb as the rudder, and are you trying to stay more on the side of the ball? Are you trying to avoid catching that seam? Are you tucking? What do you got?
Never tucking.
Okay.
Like not getting as high as that, but I never feel like I'm beneath the ball. I'm never feeling like I'm splitting the ball in half by any means. I feel like I'm kind of maybe splitting the ball in half between my middle finger and my thumb, just kind of holding a third of it.
Okay.
Feel like it helps me stay behind it better.
Gotcha. Any cue there? Just, I mean, it feels like the thumb is probably a big role player there.
Yeah. Just feeling like I'm, I feel like it kind of gives me freedom to just, because I'm a supinator by nature, so it gives me freedom to be on the side of the ball a little bit and just backspin it, knowing that my thumb's going to keep it fairly true.
Talk about being a supinator. Let's get to the sinker because this is a pitch from last year to this year has, I mean, completely evolved. This is a major player in how you are dominating. So how did we get to this grip? First, let's see this grip.
Yeah. So a little bit of a one-seamer.
Oh, I love this. I'm already aroused.
I like to be on the seam with my middle and my index. I like to spin the crap out of it. I know most sinker ballers, it's a low spin rate kind of thing. But I feel like the faster I spin the seams, the more they catch.
Sure.
Yeah, exactly.
Just an absolute takeoff. So is there a pressure cue, whether it's with the index or the middle finger? Or
a little bit more on the middle finger, and then I'm coming through a little bit supinated, trying to get a little seam shift action. But even the ones that I square up, just because of the nature of the grip, they're going to have the one seam action and still take a little bit. But the ones where I really I feel like I'm a little bit more clipping it from the side.
Is there any cue out front? I always reference Tarek Skubal because he talked about, sort of swiping at release or almost cutting at release.
Similar to the cutter, it's kind of just like an open hand karate chop from the side. Yeah, I'm just trying to backspin the ball from the side. So from about 45 degree.
Yep.
If this is 0 and that's 90, from about 45, just backspin it as hard as I can. Yeah.
So let's get to the cutter because this thing is also taking on a different life. I mean, it's swing and miss. We're getting to contact now at an incredible rate. So what is the grip here? We're basically turning the fastball around.
So just rotate the four, and then I'm a little bit more on the inside. I have my index finger right there on the horseshoe, and still a little bit spread like a four seam. I play around with the thumb on this a little bit too. If I really want to jam it into righties, then the thumb's a little bit higher on the ball, which is kind of contradicting to what I just said about the four seam, but that's just kind of how I found for it to work.
I pitched with a guy by the name of Justin Dukeshire who would throw his cutter very similarly, but he would move his thumb all the way up on the side of the ball. You're looking at that. And I mean, he was able not only to command that, but command it at will, generate swing and miss and depth with that thing. So I'm always intrigued how guys utilize the thumb as well. I
feel like more depth for me, the thumb has to go a little bit further down, and that way I could kind of generate a little bit more of a tighter gyro spin. I run into trouble with it every now and then when it's getting a little too gyro-y, so for the most part I try and keep my thumb a little bit higher on the ball. Helps me, like I was saying about the four, helps me stay behind it a little bit better and kind of just grip it and rip it.
You got this bad boy too. The sweeper. There's some folks who just don't want to say the word. I understand.
Yeah.
Well, let's start there. Where do you feel? I mean, are you okay with calling it a sweeper? Are we okay with acknowledging it?
Fooled him that time on the sweeper. Down he goes with a swing and a miss. Strike three, two gone.
For a while, I liked calling it a slider because when I call it a sweeper, it's now I have to shape it and it has to sweep. And for a while, I was also throwing it 84 to 86. It hasn't been that this year. It's definitely taken on the profile of the sweeper. kind of coinciding with me calling it a sweeper now, so
Sure.
I guess I did it to myself. But this is the grip just on the horseshoe right there. And,
Oh yeah, look at that thing crank though.
Yeah, yeah.
There's some tension there.
Yeah, and for me, it's not really trying to spin this one as much as I am the sinker, the four, the cutter. I'm really just trying to push that seam forward as soon as I get to extension. Yeah, and I feel like if I'm doing anything more than that, then I'm probably backing it up or hanging it, and for the most part, I'm just trying to execute below the zone, whether it's 50 feet or 59 feet. As long as it's below the zone, then it's doing its job.
Either a bounce it or a rapid job.
100%.
Love that. And the fact that the sweeper, and you acknowledge as much, and we'll get into this, the way you're shaping that pitch up, I think, because maybe a tick or two down in terms of velocity, and we'll get to whether or not that's a conscious decision. But for me, that, again, just speaks to your ability to feel this baseball and make that sumbitch dance. Let's get to the changeup, because this was my bread and butter, and I always love to see how guys manipulate this thing.
So I'm on about my 4th grip this year right now.
All right.
Probably 12th all time.
Stepchild?
But so I've tried the Scooble grip.
This is my grip, right? And I want the black dot right here.
From spring training up until about mid-June, and I had a couple that were really good, and then the other 80% were straight takes, would have hit a lefty batter in the head, might have went behind them. So I kind of just slowly kept creeping my index down, and now it's a bit of a split change, and that's the one that I was throwing last night. In my mind, it is a splitter, but I don't want to commit to being a full splitter.
Sure.
I feel like this way I'm, protecting my elbow a little bit more. Maybe I am, maybe I'm not. But the release is still splitter finish in my mind.
Is there any manipulation out front with this? Because you talked about trying to execute the same grip as Scooble and a lack of success, probably just a lack of repeatability.
Yeah.
So is there any manipulation whatsoever, or is it just now, I have the grip that I'm comfortable with, heave ho, let it go?
That's all I can do with it. I haven't been throwing it for long enough to know how to manipulate it. It's really just get it out front and throw it hard.
Well, I saw a pretty good few of them last night that were doing the job. Is this something, and what I found intriguing about this, have you thought about throwing it to left-handers at all? I know the numbers tell me that you have not thought about it at all, not a single one, but is there any interest? Has there been any flirting with that idea?
No, I've gone down that path in my mind, but the game situation has never presented itself. I mean, Bellinger's got my number pretty good from a left-handed hitter standpoint, but outside of that, I feel like that's not the weapon I need. I added the sinker, and I feel like that took care of everything.
That sinker, and let's talk about it now, it is a pitch that you were using quite literally 2% of the time last year. 15% usage, and it's really balancing out the rest of your arsenal, and I watched it unfold last night, tying up left-hander after left-hander. You're just one pitch ahead in the at-bat, every at-bat it feels like, and I think a lot of it has to do with now planting that seed of, hey, I've got something coming into you, as opposed to just fastballs away, cutters away, sweepers away.
Right.
Now there's a presence the other direction.
Right, and I always felt comfortable throwing my 4 into left, but every time that I threw the sweeper, it felt like it was a very predictable pitch.
Like they're staying on it?
Yeah, and I feel like the sinker is something where the spin resembles the sweeper a little bit more than the 4. The angle of my arm may resemble it, I don't know, but it feels like those are the kinds of swings that I get on it.
Well, I'm glad you brought up the arm angle. Has that been a conscious decision for you and a conscious effort to lower the arm angle? Because we have gone from like mid-50s down to, I think, 35 degrees.
Yeah.
And at times, watching how our arsenal plays can lead to making those adjustments. And at times, it might be just sort of a recon mission. I'm just trying to explore and figure something out.
Well, when I debuted, I want to say it was like 38, 39, banged up my elbow a little bit, mixed that with chasing vert, and I feel like just trying to be so behind the ball with the 4 that I unnatural or unconsciously like crept upwards, just trying to be on top of the ball like that. And then when I was coming back from TJ, it was like, a little bit with how my body felt over the course of 2021, and a little bit with knowing that, well, I felt a lot better recovering from outings, in college when my arm was a little bit lower. So it was a bit of a journey to get there and get back to this point. Even earlier this year, I kind of just like never stopped creeping down.
Right.
Earlier this year, it was like 30, 31. Now I feel like I'm back in the 35, which to me is optimal range.
when we start talking about creating angles, that's why I brought up the arm angle, is because again, our stuff starts to play very differently when we talk about just a matter of a quarter of an inch at release, let alone several different degrees. As far as where we're located on the mound, tell the folks at home where you are located on the slab. First base side, third base side.
I'm far third base side, just trying to protect my misses. I mean, I feel like it's most lefties, but for me specifically, I'm very prone to the high arm side miss. Last year working with Martin Maldonado, it was, hey, we're going to set up glove side and your high arm side miss is going to be a heater up away, and we're just going to live with that. And it worked really well for me. And, you know, now that I'm, you know, starting to continue to grow and face lineups for the second start of the year sometimes with the Yankees, coming up on my fourth start against them this year. So I'm starting to kind of get it more into the nitty gritty of locating arm side, locating glove side. But that's kind of how I got into that point, was just protecting my miss patterns.
So you're understanding not only the lanes that we're creating, but also the angle of the plate that we're creating being on that third base side. I mean, that arm side, you can clip that bad boy all day long. You lazy son of a bitch, I see you working. As far as moving on the rubber though, has that ever been something that you've entertained? Has it been something that you've stayed away from for certain reasons? I pitched with a guy by the name of Brett Anderson, another big lefty, 99 hundo, an absolutely disgusting wipeout slider. And he had the ability to go first base side early in the count. He'd move to the third base side. Like he was just dancing all over the place. And it was something I never really even thought about entertaining until later in my career. So is that something that's even been a thought? Have you even approached that?
Well, I played for Brett's dad, so I'm kind of pissed he never brought that up to me. I might have tried it back in college, but no. I mean, I think about it sometimes when things are going real bad.
Sure.
But when things are going good, I'm not going to change anything.
We're staying home.
I know that Skeens does it, or at least he was doing it. Does he still do it? Yeah. So I know that there's some benefit there. For me, it's I don't want it to mess with my focal points. That's about it.
That's how I always talk about. You know, if you're somebody who shoots, you shoot targets. Shooting from a stationary and a fixed position gives you a pretty good idea of what you're doing. We start moving that platform around, it's tough to create that baseline. It's tough to have a feel for where our target is, where our misses are going to be.
Right.
When we're identifying our opponent and we're getting into the lab, are you somebody who studies yourself more so before a start or in between work days? Are you somebody who studies the opponent? So, and I call this the self component, the opponent component. What are you prioritizing and why?
I'm prioritizing the opponent. About once every 4 or 5 starts, when I'm doing my scouting, I'll scout myself as well and see what my past month pitch frequency maps look like. Where's the four seam been located and where was I really trying to locate it all along? For the most part, for me, I'm throwing four seams up to my glove side. I'm throwing sinkers down to my glove side. I'm throwing cutters in off and sweepers below, changeups below. So it's like when I'm looking at this pitch frequency map in my mind, I already know where I'm trying to go with most of these pitches. So if the four seam's not top rail, then it's okay, how do I get it there? And maybe a little bit of where are these guys trying to funnel me into? What window are they looking in to get the pitch to hit? And I feel like that's kind of what I've run into this past August. Looking at my pitch frequency maps, a lot of the four seams were out over as well as the cutters. And, tried to combat that as much as possible.
Does that tell you anything about what you're doing mechanically or what you're not executing mechanically?
A little bit, and I had that conversation with Wong 3 days ago, and he kind of got me on to practicing the glove side sinker, just really getting fully extended and knowing that I had to hold on to the ball a little bit longer.
You got to drive that thing over there. We got to stay close. We have to drive that pitch over there. Otherwise, that thing is, like you said, clipping a chin on the lefty.
Yeah, and that's kind of why I feel like the results last night were what they were. You know, I've had a week to kind of focus on that and hone in on that. And, I front hipped Wilson last night. I backdoored Soderstrom, and it was like, man.
It was sick.
Yeah.
It was sick to watch. I got to be honest. I was caught in between giving you the tongue bath that you deserved and just trying to downplay how absolutely disgusting it actually was. When you're in the video room, whether it's in the video room, whether it's out during BP, are you somebody who feels like you can read swings? Do you have the ability to read swings? Is that something you are working on? Where are you at with that?
For me, I'm more focused on tunneling, I feel like, than reading swings. That's an element that the catcher has a greater idea than we have. Maybe the guy grunted after the pitch or maybe maybe it got in on him, but I didn't see that because I thought that he was early on the pitch. But and he's shaking his hands after the at bat, but I'm already turned around, kicking the rubber, getting ready for the next pitch. So I try and leave that to Narvi and Connor. For myself, it's really just all tunneling.
I can appreciate that, again, because with what type of velocity you come with and the rest of the arsenal and how it plays, trying to make a swing decision with all of those things coming out of the same spot,
Right.
you make life very, very difficult on these guys. As far as the data goes, because there has been a ton of information that has found its way into our game, preparation, analyzing the game, the way fans consume it, data is abound. Are you somebody who has a good relationship with data? Were you scared of the information at first? How did that develop for you?
No, I feel like I'm a quick learner, and I feel like I'm somebody that wants to learn. So, metrics and things of that sort, that wasn't something I did in college. So as soon as I was drafted, it was all very new to me. But I felt like the best way was just to dive right in. How can I understand this and use it to my advantage? Because as pitchers, we're already at the advantage, and if I could have one more thing in my tool bag, then that's just an even greater discrepancy. So for me, it was, let's dive into this as much as possible. Understand pitch shapes, understand how they pair together with your arsenal as a whole.
That's what I wanted to ask you, because this is really geared for the younger athletes, maybe the high school, the collegiate players. There's guys in pro ball, there's guys in the big leagues that watch this shit. I had no idea, and I was thoroughly appreciative to hear that. But when you start to talk about prioritizing things that can help you get better, if you were somebody who was 15, 16 years old, just being introduced to TrackMan, to the Edger, what are some data points that you would say, you know what, all that other stuff is just kind of noise. I would really focus on this if I was really trying to get feedback that could help me?
If I was in high school, I'm more focused on pitch shape, repeatability. I want the clusters to be tight.
Aim small, miss small, same spots.
Yeah, exactly. And I want to have the 12 and 0 sweeper every time. I don't want one to be 8 and 8 and the next one be 16 and -4.
Right. You want that thing ricocheting.
Right. I want to find the right one and just keep repping that as much as I can and cement that in my mind as much as I can.
So you hear that? Cement the repetition. Find the grip, find the execution, find the release point, hammer those things down. There's no reason to get crazy and trying to reinvent the wheel before you even know how to roll the damn thing down the hill. Fair enough to say?
That is very fair.
I want to have some fun with you now. You pitch in an incredible environment every fifth day, or tentatively every fifth day, in front of a ton of fanatics, absolute maniacal baseball fans. Outside of Fenway, because I'm going to eliminate that, what has been your favorite ballpark, whether it's environment, mound, surface, to compete in, to pitch in?
Yeah. Wrigley's pretty special.
Oh, it's dope.
Yeah, Wrigley's a cool one. It'll be a 12:30 game, and the place is packed out, which is pretty sweet.
Everybody's shit-faced.
Yeah. Hope the ball's not flying when you're on the hill that day.
Yep, check the wind.
Yeah, hopefully that 10% of the time that it's not flying. Yeah, Wrigley's special. Going to New York is pretty special. It feels good to win there and to perform there, because that's one of the biggest stages. There's still a couple places I got to knock off that I haven't thrown at, so I can't really rule everywhere else out.
Which one are you looking forward to the most?
I've never thrown at Dodgers as a starter.
Okay.
I've thrown out of the pen. I've never thrown at Coors, so I don't know what the ball flight's really like there.
I wouldn't be in a hurry. I wouldn't be in any hurry.
Yeah,
that's
what I hear. I'm looking forward to those. Man, I had a stinker in Philly last year. That place was...
Yeah, you're going to need that one back, dog.
That place was cool, though. That was special.
That's energy, man.
Yeah. Honestly, I take back Wrigley in New York. I'm probably going to say Philly.
I love it. I love it. Growing up, we all have the unicorn. We all have the icon. Who was the poster on the wall for you?
I had a poster of Cliff Lee.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love just the most vanilla lefty ever.
Yeah.
Like, as far as movement, super simple mechanics. You want to talk about a cutter from absolute hell? I mean, that dude he was throwing the cutter that we end up screwing up and throwing in catch play.
Yeah, the air cutter.
How did that? He was throwing that to both sides of the plate. It was disgusting to watch from the dugout perspective, so I can understand why Cliff Lee's a dog.
Yeah. I went to a baseball camp in 8th grade, and he was breaking down our mechanics and kind of giving us a comp, and and he like overlaid me and Cliff Lee, and it was like identical. And I was like, man, this is so sick. I'm the biggest Cliff Lee fan now.
Dialed in.
Yeah.
If you had the opportunity, or no, let's ask this one, because I don't even know if I were you, I wouldn't. But if you had to scrap one of your pitches and introduce another one, you get to adopt somebody else's.
Yeah.
So we're banging this one.
The change up, no question.
Okay, so we're banging the change piece, and whose change up are we going and getting?
Scooble's change
Scooble's
up.
change
Yeah.
piece.
Right now.
It's absolutely why so the fastball, people have been on the Scooble fastball. I understand why you're not going that route. You have one of those too.
Yeah.
That change up is absolutely otherworldly.
Not a price I wouldn't pay.
I would do a lot of foul things that I can't talk about right now for that change, for anything that either one of you dudes are toting around out there. What is one bit of advice, again, that you could give to these young players, these young athletes, young boys and girls who think they're falling in love with this game on the level that you love it and have been able to create a life for yourself and for your family doing this? They think they want to do that too.
Yeah.
What's the message for them as they sit right now, 14 years old, trying to figure out, is this what I want to do? Can I commit to this? What is the advice from somebody like you who has achieved already what you've achieved?
I don't know if I have one like major sticking point because I was never that guy. I was always on the fence. I was 6'3" my junior year of high school, topping out at 82.
Garrett, you're up to 85 just now on the gun. Looking good here tonight at the showcase. How exciting is it to be here in front of all these college coaches?
It's a really big thing to take the next step in my career. I think this is a really key aspect of me wanting to go to the next level of baseball.
So it never felt like it was a possibility for me personally. I was committed and signed to a junior college and was more fired up than ever because I thought that I was just going to get to play baseball for fun for 2 more years. And then Tony V saw me, and my velocity and my development slowly, upgraded as the years went on. Because I was never a guy that got in the weight room in high school. I didn't know what I was doing in there.
Sure.
So for me, it was just giving myself time to develop. And I think that that's what a lot of kids these days kind of miss out on with social media. It's that guy's already more advanced than me, way ahead of me. And you forget that everyone develops at a different rate. And you never know what you're going to be unless you stick with it.
Love that.
Yeah.
Know thyself. Learn
Yeah,
thyself.
For sure.
You have one at-bat that you can have against anybody that's ever taken an at-bat in the game of baseball.
Oh, I thought you were saying I get to hit.
Oh, no.
I was
Nobody wants to
fired
see that. Nobody wants to see that. Could you swing it?
No,
You can,
not for average or power.
So no. Take 2 bats up there. Who are you squaring off against?
Barry. Yeah.
Just no-brainer.
Yeah, no brainer at all. Left on left.
You like your odds a little better?
I feel like I have an advantage, but history tells me I don't. So I want to see what that's about.
Well, I believe lefties are hitting 177 against you right now. So I think I like your chances too. That is a
Yeah.
ticket I would unquestionably buy because that would be an absolute show. May end up being a laser show. Sorry about your luck. But I love the fact that you would tug on Superman's cape like that.
Yeah. I'm sure he's got a lifetime 300 average. So maybe we meet in the middle and he goes 22 for 100.
I like that you're optimistic about your chances. I like that. My dog, it has been a true treat, man. You have been a pleasure to watch. I was telling you this before we sat down and got going. In 2020, you were doing book reports at the University of Tennessee. By the end of 2020, you were punching tickets in the postseason in the big leagues, and I had a front row seat to watch it. I reached out to you the night I saw you do what you did on the mound of the Coliseum, knew that this was going to be special. So for us to be able to sit down at this point in your career where things are really starting to take off, I was excited because of everything you've laid out. You've been a true treat to talk to, an even bigger joy to watch. And I can't wait to see what the world and the rest of the game has in store for you, my man, because you are truly special.
Thank you. Thanks for having me, man.
Appreciate you, dog.
Great chatting with you.
Slab Lab with the Southpaw.
Who ready? Who?